And it is time for Friends and Neighbors, and my friend and neighbor today is Mayor Blake Lay.
Good morning, Jeff. Thanks for
you?
having me this morning.
Well, buddy,
very good, very good.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being. Been looking forward to it. I've been telling folks that you would be in this morning, and we'd have time for a good conversation. We've got the 8 o'clock hour here, the Friends and Neighbor hour, as we call it. And Mayor, I was thinking you were mayor once before.
Yes, sir.
And this the second term for this go around?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
I was elected. I was the youngest mayor ever elected back in 1999 and served until 2003, and then was out of it until 2018, 2019, and have been blessed to be mayor from then on until today.
Well, you're a busy guy. I know that. You and I, sometimes connect in the real estate world here and there, and you've got a lot of irons in the fire. Because the mayor position is not a full-time paid position, even though it's a full-time job.
Yeah, that's one of the things people say, well, you're not a full-time mayor. Well, you're always the mayor. It's like being sort of a preacher. You're always a preacher. You're always that, and you're always in front of issues, always there when you're out in public or whenever you're out doing things, and you do get the phone calls at odd hours and things, but it's a great job, though. It's a great thing. You get to give back to your community and do things, so it's fun.
Well, I'm going to take you back to your first term because I want to ask you about something. I guess that was that your first time to run for any office?
I'd run for the state senate when I was a puppy. I ran for the state senate, was in 8 counties, ran against a gentleman named Pete Springer, and at that time, all 8 counties were heavily Democratic.
Yeah.
That was in the early 90s, 93, 94.
Gosh, back in the 1900s?
Yes. I know it's hard to believe it. Young people go, what? That's like saying the 1800s to us.
Back in the 1900s, yeah.
But I ran and ended up losing across 8 counties by less than 0.5%. Was sort of bitten by the bug of giving back, and it was an eye-opening experience for me. I really have always loved Lawrenceburg and Lawrence County, and I saw other communities that were really thriving. You had Dixon that was really starting to grow, and you had Lexington and other communities, and I saw that when I was there. And I came back home, and we were struggling as a community of a lot of things going on. Murray was still here, but there was a big transition, and Murray had went from 3,000 employees to about 1,400 employees, and just a lot of things going on in our community. And you have to get out of your own backyard and see what the rest of the world's doing, and you come back in and sort of look and say, hey, we can do more, we can do better.
You mentioned Murray. Very few of us that grew up around here weren't affected by Murray. I mean, everybody was. Everybody's family was connected to Murray somehow or another. It was a great blessing at the time. Employed my dad and my father-in-law, your dad. I mean, everybody's family was connected to Murray. I even had a chance to work at Murray for a short period of time, and went to work there on my 18th birthday. 18 years old that day, and went to work, and so anyway, of course, they had a seasonal type, hiring and laying off. It was kind of accepted. It was normal for what we did. So I worked until they laid me off, and then I was fortunate enough to find another thing to do. So, but anyway, speaking of that, times were different then. And we've seen just a tremendous amount of growth and influence, things happening, and people are going, what is happening?
Yeah.
But back to your first term as mayor, when you became mayor of Lawrenceburg, tell me some things that might have surprised you.
Well,
when you step into that office, all of a sudden you're mayor of Lawrenceburg.
Well, I tell people, I walked in the doors there, and the financial. Well, number one thing, we had just come out of the flood. In '98 was the flood, and the flood is one of those marks. If you're looking at a timeline of Lawrenceburg and Lawrence County, changed everything for us. The flood had been devastating to all the infrastructure of Lawrenceburg, to a lot of people's lives and homes, and we were coming out of that. And I came in, and our financial advisor, you have what I would consider like a CFO of it, had quit 6 months before I got there.
Yeah.
And I came in, and most mayors come in, if you're a new mayor, you come in with a budget. Well, we had no budget, and we had no things to base on. And I sit down, and I'm going, what have I gotten myself into? Because the city, if you understand the word broke, we were broker than broke. We actually had to do a tax anticipation note just to make payroll is where we were at.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am 32, 33 years old going, well, what am I done here?
Yeah.
And we began working at that. We brought in some consultants to help us structure some stuff. A gentleman by the name of Don Howell was brought in, and Don really helped me shape a lot of the things that are in place today in the city. But we really was a time that we sit down, and I'll tell you a quick story. I'd been in about 2 months, and the people from the state of Tennessee had come down, and they were talking to me, and they said, well, you've got to do something, or we're literally considered taking over the city of Lawrenceburg, is how bad Jeff it really was. And then some people from the bond fund came down and said, you know what, you got to raise taxes. And I said, okay. And they go, no, seriously, you're going to have to raise taxes. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I said, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I said, what I raise taxes to and what I raise taxes for? I said, I have no financial. My person left. I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we were able to structure a plan for coming out of all that, and worked very hard to do that. And the first 4 years we didn't have to raise taxes. We had a planned tax increase in 2005. And then the last time property tax were touched in Lawrenceburg, which is pretty amazing, was in 2006, and that was a nickel reduction. So pretty well managed across the years in the city of Lawrenceburg to never have touched property tax since 2005.
Really?
And that was a reduction.
That's pretty good. I guess that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Of course, people don't like taxes. They don't want to have to pay taxes. Although, if we don't pay the taxes, we can't have some of the services that we expect.
Yeah. But we were able, we really came in. I had a great group of commissioners that worked with us, and we turned around and we addressed some of the major things that our form of government we were able to take a hard look at. And we actually changed the charter of the city that brought us a city administrator form of government. A lot of people don't know, but they had been trying to change the form of government in Lawrenceburg since 1952 and had not been able to do it. We were able to do that in about 2.5 years.
Well, for those that might need a little rehearsing on that, can you talk about the differences between what it was and the new way that with the administrator?
You had commissioners throughout Lawrenceburg's history until we got over 10,000 population. You had guys that were elected commissioners. You had a mayor, you had a commissioner of finance, and you had a commissioner of streets. When we got over 10,000 people, you added a commissioner of parks and recreations. You had the mayor, and all you ended up with 5 positions in that group. Well, in each one of those were elected to run the departments on a day-to-day basis. So for an example, you would elect a safety commissioner, and he would be over the police and fire, running on a day-to-day basis, whether he had any experience in law enforcement or not.
Yeah.
And then you would have a street commissioner that was elected, and whether he knew anything about a shovel and a road grader or anything. And it was an old 1913 form of government that was first used in Texas after a hurricane when you had to have rapid decisions. Well, it was a very out-of-date system, and the state had started talking to us in the 40s about getting rid of that form of government. The city took it
all the way back to the
40s and into the early 50s, and they had tried to do it. But it was just a really tough form of government because the employees were voting for their bosses every day. And we saw a real problem in this because you could be chief of police one day, the election comes along the next day, you either didn't have a job or you were reduced to a patrolman strictly because you chose the wrong side of an election.
Yeah.
And it goes through, and what you had, instead of looking at the city as a whole, you would have commissioners, 3 commissioners gang up, and then you'd all of a sudden see 3 new fire trucks. Or we would go this way. It was never looking at the city in a whole because everybody was worried about their individual part of the city.
It was siloed.
Very much so.
Yeah, each department. So
yeah.
So as opposed to now, we've got a different structure. So tell me a little bit about that.
The structure today, you have a 5-member council. All of those, you have the mayor and your other 4 councilmen, and they represent the whole city. They run at large in the city. So you're not worried about one area of the city. You're worried about the whole. You're elected to do that. Then you have a city administrator that is a hired position of the city council to do that. And under that, then you have department heads that are professionals that do it. You have a fire chief, you have a police chief, you had head of public works, you have somebody over parks and recreation. All of those positions report directly to the city administrator.
Right.
Then you have a CFO in the financial department, which is like a company. So imagine a company structure. You have a board of directors, which is what the mayor and the group do. And for a better term, the mayor is the chairman of that board.
Sure.
But then you turn around and the city administrator is the president, CEO of the company. Then you have a head of finance, which was Linda Adair just a few days ago. She was head of finance, like a CFO, and then it goes down to department heads that run it, all the way to our employees. And the city of Lawrenceburg has about 152 plus employees, and I can't say enough for our department heads. A lot of them have been with the city a number of years and do an incredible job. Most important thing about it is I tell them, I said, we just stay out of the way. If you can keep the politicians out of the way of our department heads and city administrator, city seems to run very well.
Well, yeah, if they have the freedom to do their jobs like they're supposed to do. Yeah.
And it really is. We put this form of government back in 2003. And it's gotten more and more and more in the system. Most people don't even remember the old form of government or anything about it. It's funny that you mentioned it, and it really has come back to. It's really set the city on an incredible path of growth, and a lot of it is just the form of government has made a huge difference. And that was one of the things that we recognized when the group that I came in '99 saw. And one of the things I always say, you take, and we had good people before us in those positions, but you put good people in a bad system, you're not going to get the results you want out of it. And that was one of the issues with the form of government.
Well, the system does seem better. It does seem this, I mean, it's obviously a better way to do that, a more efficient way, I think. Looks like to me, anyway.
Well, what it allows us to do is spend time as elected officials. The old system, we had to spend every bit of our time. I tell people 85% of elected officials back under the old system had to spend their time looking inward to the city, just making sure the garbage is picked up, this is done, this is done.
Yeah.
When you turn it over to what I call the professionals, now I get to spend 95% of my time looking out. What are we going to be doing 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 15, 20 years out, which is what we really should be as a board doing to look at the future of Lawrenceburg, because the decisions we make today will not only affect my kids, their grandkids, and on out. So it's very important that we do that and put those eyes on to look in the future.
What kind of coordination has there been in those efforts? I know that, like a lot of Tennessee, Lawrenceburg has experienced quite a bit of growth in recent years. Mm-hmm. Maybe not as much as some other spots in Tennessee, but we're affected. Mm-hmm. And we're in a place where I think, and I see this in my work, Nashville affects us, Huntsville affects us, Athens affects us, and just we're kind of in the middle of a triangle of a lot of happening.
Yeah, it's an incredible time, an incredible place to be in Lawrenceburg right now. We are experienced growth from 2020 to 2025. We grew right at 9.5% in the city. The county grew at a little better than 4%. And you're seeing that in all things. We talk about it. Go in a restaurant and you used to know everybody in that restaurant. You look around and go, huh, who are these people? And but it's good growth, and the place that Lawrenceburg sits on the map. We are an hour from Huntsville. We're an hour and 15 minutes from Nashville on a good driving day.
On a good driving day.
On a good driving day. But we have that ability to be in that position, and you can live here, work here, do the things here. We have about 9,000 people that commute out of Lawrence County on any given day going to work, but they choose to make Lawrence County their home. Very proud of that, and we're working on those things. And as you see growth that's happening, people are loving our community, and it's fun to be a part of it and see that growth and be a member of the team that's making that happen.
Within city government, Blake, what are some of the current challenges that we're facing as a city?
Well, number one, there's always more projects than you have money, and that's one of the toughest things. And in my life, I've not really ever been good at saying no to things. I like to figure out a way to make things happen.
Yeah.
I get accused of being a doer really much, and I think government is to provide and do and make things happen, and that's why you form cities for services and things that you can't do by yourself. There's always challenges. Roads are always a challenge. The cost of roads have went up nearly 300% to just put pavement down and do that. I've spent a lot of time at the legislature talking to them about getting money back to our communities to be able to help pave roads. You look around, the biggest knock we get is how you paving roads. When you going to get this? I bring up Springer Road as an example. I travel it every day, and I get asked about why aren't we done on Springer Road? Well, Springer Road was done by all state standards and anything else. And I'm talking about from Old 64 to Springer Road.
Yeah.
And that road was put in, it was done by specs, and it began falling apart 3-4 years into it. And it continues. We have engineering. We're going to do some stuff in the spring on that road that's coming very quickly. But figuring out why it's failing. The asphalt was checked, the gravel base. We're looking at, is there underground springs that we didn't know about? But it's things like that you scratch your head. But that's what people see every day, and they expect not to drive down the road and get their teeth knocked out. Right?
Well, of course we've all made our jokes about Springer Road, but it is highly traveled.
It is.
It is a major artery in Lawrenceburg.
Yes, it is. It is a major artery. We do our best to try to keep trailer trucks off of it. GPS is the worst thing for roads that ever happened. They send them the shortest routes.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, and we do our best to try to enforce that with law enforcement. Make it known that you're not welcome up through there.
Yeah.
But it is tough, and shout out to our truck drivers. They move the world along for us and feed us and clothe us and do everything.
They have a tough job.
They have a tough job.
But they're tough on the roads.
They're tough on the roads. But it's meeting. You asked, back to the question you asked, the challenges. You're also seeing different demands and more demands on government than ever before. People are asking more from government than ever before. And one of the things that I try to do, Jeff, is cover age groups.
Yeah.
And I formed about 6 years ago now, I formed a group that I call my high school group. There's two members of a team that I will meet with every 2 months and sit down and try to look at the world. These kids are 14 through 18, 19 years old, 2 members of each, and they're the mayor's, what I call the mayor's council for youth.
Okay.
And I'm looking at, what do you see? What do you like? What do you don't like? And never underestimate these kids. They're brilliant. They know things. They collect information differently than we do. They learn. I've got a group of 30 years old people that I talk to, really headed up by Ryan Egley in our chamber, that I meet and listen to and learn, because there's nothing worse. I tell people I'm looking at the world through 60-year-old eyes now, and that's a different world. That's a different world than these people are looking at the world. And if you're not willing to look at the world through those eyes, your world begins to get very, very small. And there's nothing worse than being in a position like mine and start narrowing it down to, well, that ain't the way we did it, or that ain't that. You can't do that. You've got to be
Well,
able.
why not, Blake? Because I fit that shoe fits me pretty good. That shoe fits me pretty good. We do it this way.
Hey, why do you do it? Because that's the way we've
That's
always
the way we've always done it.
And that's the only answer I tell anybody that it's around me. Just never give me that answer when we're talking about stuff. But I really try to do that and bring some of those focus. And I go back to when we were starting the Square project. We had lost the Square project twice before I came in.
Yeah.
But one of the things when I first sat down with, I'd been in less than 2 months, and we had formed a group of high school students, and sitting and talking with them, one of the first things they said, we want a square. We want something that we can go to and walk around. We want to be like Franklin Square or one of these, Columbia Square in this. And really, it has been one of the greatest flags in the ground that we've been able to do is revitalize and bring back downtown. And new businesses continue to pop up down there. And there's an energy, if you believe in that kind of energy, there's an energy about that down there. With new investment, people are looking for housing down there now. There's a new housing development that has just started down there. So, from the mouth of babes comes some really good information.
Well, they like that. They've experienced that. They've been in some of those little towns and been able to walk around from place to place. And I, of course, get to see some of that myself. Been involved in a couple of deals on the square, and it is nice to see that the square is kind of making a comeback, and I like that. Somebody wants to talk to us. Hey, good morning. You're on with us.
Now, that was not me calling earlier, by the way. I'm persistent. No, I grew up on Waterloo Street, and the happiest years of my life was the 50s and the 60s. Growing up on Waterloo Street and walking to town, and so I am very interested. I think the only way you're going to bring a lot in is going to be tourism, because there's so many people that go out of town. And I was going to throw out something to you might think about besides age. You're thinking about age of people that lived here, but you've got so many subgroups now. You've got people who've moved in who haven't lived in Lawrenceburg before, but you have people like me. I came here originally 20 years ago trying to help my mother. She lived to 100, and then. But the point I'm making is I'm probably staying here a while, but I'm running into people that like me. I've got a friend moving back after 60 years gone. She still has family here. But these people look at things very differently, not because let's just put it this way. One of my classmates came back to a reunion and said, I'm not interested in the new high school. I want to go a tour of where it used to be.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm throwing this out is their loyalties, they loved it here, they grew up here, but their children or grandchildren are some other places. So they're a little bit different, too, as to what they want and expect. But I just wanted to, another thing I wanted to bring up and ask is, besides education and healthcare and the government, what are the biggest employers in the area? That's probably on the internet somewhere, but I would just be interested in knowing, like, the top employers and how many people they employ within the city limits.
All right. Thank you, Peggy.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you. The largest employer is Modine in here. They're a little over 800 plus people. Then you go down. Our largest employer is them, and then it goes down from there. You can go across. Graphics is a large employer. They're over 300. Used to be Dura, is now. Oh, it starts with a P. I'm sorry. They're in the 250 to 300 range. And it really, our hospital is one of our biggest too. It's over 200 and something employees at our hospital. In medical profession, is one of the top employers just across the board.
Yep.
And then it goes down from there. Cabinets to Go is in there. They've got about 130 plus. The new company Brickman over there, which is right on Motivation Drive there. One of our new industries is about 135, 140 now.
We've got
It's
the big facility over there. The Lumber Liquidators is building something, but I don't know how many employees.
They're gonna end up with about 60. We're getting ready for a grand opening of that. And Jeff, I'm glad you brought them up. That is one of the big success stories of Lawrenceburg and Lawrence County. And don't know whether you know the story of that or not on Lumber Liquidators. Lumber Liquidators. Is moving in here. That's the new 505,000 square foot building right behind Cabinets to Go. Well, Cabinets to Go is owned by the same parent company that owns Lumber Liquidators. And just a quick story, when Lumber Liquidators came in here, they bought the old Jones Apparel building. And that was about 8 or 9 years ago. And the guy who owns that originally started Lumber Liquidators.
Really?
Lumber Liquidators turns around back in the day. He took the company public, was on the board of that company for years, then turned around and got voted off that board back in the day. Well, he formed Lumber Liquidators, found Lawrenceburg. Cabinets to Go is here now. All that's going well for him. Well, in 2024, in October of 2024, he turns around and buys Lumber Liquidators out of bankruptcy.
Oh my.
Well, their operation was based in Virginia. So they turn around and come back, and he says, I'm going to move out of Virginia. I'm moving the corporate headquarters, the main distribution out of Virginia. And he said, I'm moving to Lawrenceburg. And that says more for the way we do business, the way our workforce, the people that work for us. We can sit and put on a dog and pony show to attract new business and do this. But when somebody's had 8 years of proven record of working with the city officials, county, and our economic development team, and somebody makes a decision like that, and that is a $30 million investment into our community that's going to employ 50 to 60 plus people. And, a story that needs to be told is that right there, because this company could have moved anywhere. And just something to remember that makes a huge difference when you get a win like that.
Absolutely.
Because they said, we want to be in Lawrenceburg because of our past experience of being in Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
And that's just, that makes you smile. When you go by there and see the construction and the work going on, makes you smile.
And not only that, you've got the industrial park up north of town, and a lot of development happening there.
Yeah, you just saw Craig Manufacturing about a $12 million investment into that. That's a Canadian-based company that's employing about 80-something, 90-something people now, higher wages, higher skill level there. And then you can't say anything but what Magna's doing. Magna is up to about 140-something people. They were able, and we got Magna. A lot of that, there was a big push back in the day by Ford to move Magna over to Blue Oval, what happened in West Tennessee.
Right.
And if everybody's familiar with that, they absolutely went on hold on that whole facility because of the decline in the electric vehicle.
Right.
Well, Modine being here, Modine, I'm sorry, Magna being here, turned around, and their main customer right now, they're doing a lot of business with other people besides Ford, and they just got their third major press in about a month ago, and it'll be installed over the next month and a half, 2 months. And just, they're still looking at expansion and other things, and literally, a lot of people don't realize the size of Magna as a company in a whole. Magna has 343 plants across the world. Last year's revenue of Magna was nearly $43 billion.
Wow.
And we won that against the whole rest of the country. Anywhere else in the world, they chose Lawrenceburg, Tennessee to come, and I was involved with that. Ryan Egley and his team worked incredibly hard on that, and we won that competing against everybody. So when you go by there, put a smile on your face and go, no, your community won that. And it's a heck of a feather in our hat, because literally they could go anywhere in the world and they chose us. And at any given time, they're the number 1 or 2 tier provider to the automobile industry in the world.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're a big deal, big company. And I was thinking about, the fact that I think originally they were going to support the Blue Oval, and of course the Blue Oval put on hold all that because of the electric vehicle, all that kind of deal. But Magna's not stupid. They can diversify themselves,
Yes.
and they've got a plant there that they're going to utilize.
Yeah.
They've got a big investment, so they knew what they were doing, even if that Blue Oval fell apart.
yeah. Well, we've been blessed. We've been on a roll on companies, and again, I go back to our coordination of what we have with the Chamber of Commerce and the way that we do business. We are right now, we're a golden child with the state. The state, if a company fits any way that looks like us, they're coming to Lawrenceburg, and they talk about the way that we do business here in Lawrenceburg to other communities. And on any given time, we've had several other communities visit us saying, how are you doing this? And it really is the partnership that we have with our Chamber of Commerce, which is the driver of economic development.
Sure.
And then our connection with our utilities, and
Yeah.
also our connection with our county. We work very closely with that, and that's an exception, not the rule. And most communities don't get along with the county. Our city and county work very well together, along with our utilities and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Good relationships with people. We got good people, number one. Our little community's been blessed to just have good folks all the way around, I think. And one thing I was going to ask you about, it's not a direct, I guess, responsibility of the mayor, but you know things. When we watch things happen up and down the strip, in particular, we just opened up, it was a big deal. Everybody was waiting on the Waffle House to open up. Okay, and we had a lot of fun here on the radio waiting to go to the Waffle House, all that kind of stuff. But part of that package originally was supposed to be a Starbucks. So can you update us on what's happening there? Because I know they put it on hold, evidently.
Well, what happened with the Starbucks, and then this happened at the corporate level, and I can tell you another thing of how corporate level decisions affect us at the local level. But Starbucks was all ago. Their footprint was about 2,200 square feet.
Okay.
And then they decided that they, corporate-wise, made a decision that they wanted their stores smaller. And you see that. You saw the way Hardee's changed their footprint.
Right.
That is a trend in all of retail, fast foods, all of that. Is the in your car and go. Not as many people sitting and hanging around. You saw it with McDonald's. You've seen it across the board. Well, they wanted to lessen their footprint. Well, the developer on this had all the plans, everything ready to go. Well, they came back and said, here's our new plan. We need a new price. We want this. They negotiated new rent, anything else. And in that course of time, they also changed the person who was head of corporate real estate. As of 2 weeks ago, it is approved and done. When they release it, I don't know. But as of 2 weeks ago, the guy who owns the project and does it told me it's coming.
Okay.
And so excited.
Just a little delay, but maybe coming
Well,
later.
you look at our new coffee shops up and around. If you
Yeah.
can't get coffee in Lawrenceburg, at least you can go eat some Mexican food and some other things. So, but it's exciting. You're seeing that, but that is happening, and we do. Aldi's is coming. Aldi's, you see the work coming in and part of that.
Right.
That's a huge thing.
They're going to be located there next to
Big Lots. We're Big Lots.
Where Big
taking
Lots
half
was.
of the Big Lot
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And there's a thing in this, in telling people about how this model works. You start with industry. Then you go with the housing which you see the number of new homes and stuff being built or planned for this. Then follows retail, and it's like a triangle, but it all starts with the jobs that you create with the Magnas and the lumber liquidators and the Blinkmans, and a company I have to make mention to is a company called Flexco. And Flexco is an incredible company that's looking to grow here. That's just a great ambassador for us too.
What do they do?
Steel fabrication. They cut tubing. They handle the large rolls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're the products that make the products.
Yeah.
And they blessed to have them here in our community. There's nothing like that. I had the opportunity to travel with the owner of that company to his home base in Elkhart, Indiana, and he has nearly 1 million square feet up there of operational. And he came back. We brought him to Lawrenceburg, showed him Lawrenceburg, liked the way we do business here. He looked around, met with our chamber, did that. He has probably a $20 million investment, $25 million investment there, looking at building another building probably in the next year or so. And one of the ambassadors, he is recruiting businesses for here, because one of the things from Magna to all of these companies is that you people act like you want us to be here. You treat us as friends and neighbors from the and it's a feeling when they come to Lawrenceburg. And again, these people can spend their dollars anywhere and go wherever they want to, and to come here and say, plant a flag, and they plant flags where their money's in dollars, and they're hiring our people.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so exciting. And hey, Jeff, that's what makes it fun to do this job. The people and getting to show off your community.
One of the things I noticed, Blake, about Lawrenceburg and Lawrence County in general is I feel like that we're a steady, hardworking people, and I kind of pick up on just you go through town on any given evening, and most of the restaurants are stacked up. I mean, they're pretty much somebody's eating out every night, and it's because I think we're a working community.
Yeah.
For the most part, people are either like you say, some of them commute and try to get back home, I guess, meet up with the family or something like that, or they've just worked all day, don't want to cook, that kind of thing. And nothing wrong with cooking at home, but I'm just fascinated sometimes at how busy life in Lawrenceburg is.
It's been really amazing to watch that. We are a destination city, and people look at me sort of funny when I say that. The city of Lawrenceburg swells to a town of about 25,000 every day, coming to our Walmart to shop, our Kroger's to eat, to do these things, to work in our factories.
Yeah.
And when that happens, they're spending dollars in here, and they're doing these things and then leaving. And as we add more and more, the pie factory on the square, out of the X stores that they had, this is one of their top performing stores.
Yeah. Well, somebody wants to talk to us. Let's see. Do you want to talk with us this morning?
Oh, what is the two-story frame down south of the square?
That is, she's talking about the
Pavilion
the
down there.
pavilion down there. I'll let Blake explain that, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Who am I speaking with?
Miss Venable.
Miss Venable. Okay, Miss Venable. That was a project, a county project through the health department, funded by them through a grant. It is a part of the farmers market, access to walking from neighborhoods where you can walk. It is a pavilion built to that the city worked with the county to be able to do. There's still some work that has to be done on that facility. I say this gently, the city has done and met all of its obligations on that project. It is a county-owned project, and so there's some more stuff that's going to happen with that. I think it's going to be addressed in the county's next budget to finish that. But it is a gathering place where you could have venues, everything from outdoor weddings to it's really designed for a marketing and produce kind of things. Fruits
Is it
and vegetables.
open? Is it open to public use by anybody?
Yeah, you just have to call and reserve it. We've got signs on it just to keep people from hanging out and doing there,
Sure.
but it can be reserved.
Okay, so it's a public use
Yeah.
area for any kind of outdoor function, I guess, or covered pavilion type function.
If you need it.
But it had to do too with the fruits and vegetables. What are they?
Farmers market.
Farmers market. I was I couldn't think of it. So they're going to use that as a place to do their farmers marketing.
Well, in the square, because of the limited amount of space on the square there, the farmers market did really, really well there, and they're working to be able to move those two things off of that, and working the two groups that are involved with that are working to move that there.
Well, you said we may have a guest come in, and you do. Why don't you introduce who's coming in here for us?
Miss Sissy Garner is here with us this morning, and
Hey, Sissy.
Good morning.
She's head of public relations and reporting the news of things that are going on in the city. She's a direct contact as we try to keep our public better and better informed about what's going on.
Sure.
And we laugh about this all the time, Jeff. It's one of the hardest things. You asked me back in '99 what we did and how we did things. Well, you would come to the radio station or put it in the paper, and 90% of the population knew what you were doing, what's going on, what's
Right.
being built, what's that. Well, you have so many outlets of information, Facebook, this. I don't even claim to understand all that.
Yeah.
I'll show my age again then. And so we understand that we're trying to communicate across all age groups,
Yeah.
all this, and really you got to bring somebody in that understands how to do that. And Sissy's not only doing that for us, she's also taking on the role of managing and promoting the theater. We have one of the greatest theaters around. People
That's true.
look at Envy. When you have 1,000-seat theater that's sitting there, it's a beautiful, beautiful place, and we're trying to learn how to maximize that. One of the callers talked about tourism.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things we have is tourism coming to the city,
Yeah.
and that allows us to bring more people in that theater. Just look at what the Balm Festival does.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Sissy, tell us a little bit about your world.
Well, it is a great world, and we live in a great community.
Yeah.
Lawrenceburg's one of the best cities in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'll
And-
amen that.
I mean, it just is, and there's a lot of great things going on in the city, and it's my pleasure to be able to communicate those things. And so I'm always open. I'm going to share my work phone number.
Okay.
And it's 931-300-8224, and anybody can call that number, and I'll be happy to answer any questions about communications with the city or Crockett Theater.
Well, tell us a little bit about Crockett. I mean, I know all of us are familiar with Crockett Theater, and I grew up loving to go there with the movies there growing up, and now there's plays and events. In fact, they've got a play going on this weekend.
So the Lawrenceburg Community Theater is doing The Little Mermaid Junior, and this weekend, opening night is Friday night at 7, and then there's another performance on Saturday night at 7, and then a matinee on Sunday afternoon at 2. And I think it's going to be a fabulous show. I've seen little bits and pieces of rehearsal.
Oh, they have a big time.
Blake actually went and sent me pictures. He just sat in on some rehearsal.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really sweet. He sent me pictures, and I said, "Are you there?"
Yeah.
And they really appreciated him being there. A lot
Yeah.
of them saw that, just having that community involvement. And I was involved in the community theater when I was a young girl.
Yeah.
And having that history with them, and so many of those people are still involved.
Oh, yeah.
And they bring they're such an asset to this community, and now really bringing more people in and the children, it's you can't beat it. It's just a wonderful thing, and so I think the show's going to be great. We do have some tickets still available. They're not a lot.
They're going fast.
Yes, and so I have office hours at the Art Center, which is right next door to the theater. And if you want to come purchase tickets, or you can purchase online through the city website. But I'll be there from 1 until 4:30 today. If
Okay.
you want to pick up tickets or come purchase tickets, I'll be there.
Very good. That's good to know. That's very good to know. Well, let's talk about the one of your responsibilities there, of course, is the theater and promotional events. Tell me how that works. I mean, let's just say if I had the bright idea that I wanted to promote a concert and get somebody, is that something that's available to me or anybody, or how would we do that?
So call the number that I gave you. You can call me and we'll talk about it, and we'll find out what you have in mind and how it fits with the theater. And you know, sometimes the theater for a particular talent isn't going to fit for what they want to do.
Sure.
But so we talk about how it's going to fit for both of us.
Sure.
And then we move forward with finding a date to schedule it. And we rent the theater for various things. And there's different ways to set up, if it's talent, if it's a concert, a musical concert, there's different ways to structure that. And
Sure.
so that's just a conversation we would have.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. I have in my mind, Blake, threatened to do that several times, contact some artist and see if I could actually promote a concert and have one. I've never tried it,
Well,
but I think I could.
Hey, I think we should try it.
But I think I could.
There's nothing wrong.
It is.
We're
It is
trying.
such a venue. The sound company that was down the other day. We're looking at new acoustics and new lighting for the theater and updating that to be able to do that. Where we sit an hour plus from Nashville, artists like you're talking about live in Nashville, around Nashville. They can come down, ride the bus down, bring the band down, play, and then sleep in their beds at night. So we're developing what that looks like.
Sure.
And we're working very closely with the Franklin Theater on that. And it just is a real opportunity to, again, tourism dollars, the other things there. And when those tourism dollars, you know, that's free money. And you see that every time. And we're with the theater, it's just an opportunity not only to use for the entertainment size, but for a venue for business meetings, the convention business.
Yep.
Now that we have our new hotels coming online, we can go after some of these things, and we've already started that. The Hamptons should be opened in the next 2 to 3 months. If everything goes on schedule. So we really have an opportunity to go after things that we've never had an opportunity to go after before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I could, I'd love to share some of the shows that are coming up,
Well,
because
please
I
do.
think your listeners would be interested.
Please do.
So of course, we have the play this weekend, Little Mermaid Junior, and on April 18th, we have Brian White, who's an award-winning singer-songwriter from Nashville. And then on April 23rd, we have Ronnie McDowell. And all of these shows start at 7. You can call me. I can help you order tickets if you want to order, or you can go to the city website and order tickets that way. On May 2nd, we have the annual Swing into Spring with Daryl Boston. It's the high school bands that come together and do a
That's
concert.
always good.
Yes, it's
Yes.
always great. And again, that's on May 2nd. And then this year is the 50th year of Gentlemen from the Cane.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and so the Lawrenceburg Community Theater is doing a production of Gentlemen from the Cane to celebrate the 50th year, and that is July 6th through the 12th.
Wow.
Also,
Yes.
Jeff, on that, we got notification that Davy Crockett's relatives from the thing, his I guess the
Descendants.
descendants, good
Yes.
word there, thank you, plan on during that time having their family reunion here. They rotate every 2 years between San Antonio at the Alamo and then Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. They will be here this year for that. So we are trying to make some special things for that
That's a
going
good
on.
idea.
And so it's an exciting time. There'll be 250 to 300 of them is what they're expected to come to Lawrenceburg
Wow.
for
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge thing.
David Crockett had that many descendants?
They went out.
Yes.
They went forth and multiplied.
And then everybody knows about the performance series, and everybody loves that. And
Yes.
so on July 16th, we have a really big one. We have the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Coming July 16th to the Crockett Theater, and that show will be at 7. It will be 7 as well. And then, of course, we'll be booking between now and then.
Absolutely.
But please come out, support this theater.
That's pretty awesome.
It's a wonderful place. Yeah.
Pretty awesome. Our guest today has been Blake Lay and now Cece Garner from the city. And Mayor, I'm glad you came in this morning, buddy.
Jeff, I want to.
We got about a minute.
I want to give a shout out to the Lawrence County Substance Abuse. Was with them last night. 10 years. The work these people are doing are incredible, incredible. Shout out to our new restaurant, Little Capone's, that is hard to even get into. And one thing that I would like to bring up, we're looking on April 2nd. We're looking at a listening and learn evening with the mayor to pull together our community and come talk. We're going to do that at the Reserve on the Square. You'll be hearing more about that, to really sit and listen and understand what our community, what people in our community. We have the lunch with the mayor. That's difficult for some people to get to. We've had fairly good attendance to that, but we want to try to open it up tonight and be able to invite people in, come in, talk to us, and ask questions, just like what you were asking or other people. And the best way to communicate is to be able to face and have that and answer some questions. So you'll see more of that in the next week or so about getting that out.
Yeah, keep us posted. We'll try to get there, and I'll let folks know. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for
very
coming
much.
in. Had a great time with you, and look forward to doing it again. We'll have you again. Yeah, we sure will. But we've got to go now.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Hey, that went pretty damn fast.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Sorry, I was running in at the last minute.
That was
Yes.
perfect.
Perfect timing right there. Thank you so much.
Hey, and went off